WFSB Channel 3. Now, Eyewitness News Night Beat.
Husky Mania lives on. Good evening. It's a moment of celebration for the Yukon Huskies. Thousands of fans took this day to give the team one final hooray for the dream season. Channel 3's Glenn Pearson was there for all the fun.
About 4,000 screaming fans greeted the Big East champs at a celebration rally in Hartford's Bushnell Park. A final chance for Huskies fans to say thanks for the dream season, and a chance for the dream makers to thank the fans.
Every place we've gone and everything we've done, you've been there. And then finally, when we come back from the Duke game, you were there.
Just how popular is the National Coach of the Year in Connecticut? Hartford Mayor Carrie Saxon Perry said she's heard slogans touting Calhoun for governor, but then added,
and as long as they don't say Calhoun for mayor, I'll give you the key to our city.
As if it was happening for the first time, the crowd listened to a recording of the play that underscored the fairy tale season.
Burrell takes the ball, looking inbound, loops it far up court for George, who catches it, turns around, shoots.
The whole team received plaques from the city of Hartford, Scott Burrell, Nadav Hennefeld, and when the name Tate George was called, of course, he flashed that award-winning smile.
As you know, this is a sad occasion because I'm the only one leaving.
He called the team to the mic to deliver a simple message to their supporters.
Thank you, fans.
As the crowd pressed in for autographs, some fans thought they had missed out, but somehow it all worked out.
Who signed your basketball there?
Burrell.
These fans are serious and loud. The more subdued fans who were lucky enough to get a ticket attended a dinner with the team.
We not kidding.
Like I said, these fans are serious, but this time a little quieter.
Most dreams fade from memory as time passes. But for these fans, there's no question about it. This dream season will never be forgotten.
Glenn Pearson, Channel 3 Eyewitness News, Hartford.
The Huskies' Mark of Excellence was marked on mailings today. Some called it mail-order memories, others a stamp for the memory books. You can call it what you will, but many called on the Postal Service today for the special cancellation mark that was placed on packages and letters. A lasting impression of a dream season come true. Odetta?
Investigators say they are desperately seeking the public's help in solving a murder in Wallingford. Police are trying to identify a woman who was found this morning dead. Channel 3's Allison Schaefer reports.
Wallingford police found the body of a woman lying right off this driveway. The man who lives up here saw a flash of red when he got up to feed his horses. Then he discovered the body. Police don't know yet who the woman is or where she came from.
We have begun a thorough investigation, which will entail speaking to the neighbors. But right now, our primary objective is to find out who she is. That will certainly enhance our investigative efforts.
The woman was only partially clothed. She is in her late 30s and has black shoulder-length hair. Police don't know yet exactly what killed the woman found here. They say she had a bloody temple and puncture wounds on her body. They're waiting for an autopsy to figure out the cause of death. Police are asking for help in identifying her. They think she was killed somewhere else and then dumped here.
I don't know how the person was killed, whether it was by gunshot or stabbing or being beaten or whatever. But I don't know, for a place like this, it's generally a quiet neighborhood, and I like to kind of hope it's that way, so I want to try to believe that the person was killed someplace else.
Wallingford police are asking other police departments for help in identifying the body. Then they say they can begin to look for a suspect. Allison Schaefer, Channel 3 Eyewitness News on the Night Beat, Wallingford.
If you have any information about the case, you're asked to call Wallingford Police at 269-4452. That's 269-4452.
He taught us compassion, courage, and understanding. And he helped us cope with our fears and ignorance about the disease AIDS. Today, time ran out on Ryan White's very public battle with AIDS. Around the country and close to home, Ryan's contribution to the world is being remembered tonight. In Waterbury, parishioners at Saints Martin and James Chapel dedicated their Mass to Ryan. Theirs is the first chapel devoted to caring and housing AIDS patients. The choir sang a hymn in honor of Ryan, and Father Jim Graham praised his life.
so too in Brian's life, he suffered. So too in his life, he was rejected. And so too did he educate the community that he lived in, and in fact, the whole nation, to begin to respond to those who suffer from AIDS.
Members of the congregation are making cards of condolence to send to Ryan's family in Indiana. Doctors there delivered to the world the news of Ryan's death this morning.
Great sadness and deeply felt personal loss that I must inform you that Ryan White has died of the complications of his AIDS.
Ryan had been fighting an AIDS-related lung infection for a week and a half when he died early this morning. When they first told Ryan he'd contracted the virus through a blood transfusion, doctors didn't expect him to live more than 6 months. That was 5 years ago. During that time, Ryan had to fight more than his debilitating health. There was hatred, misunderstanding, and prejudice on the front lines. The first lines were drawn at his school in Kokomo, Indiana. Parental protests led to him being barred from the classroom. Court hearings won Ryan the right to attend school like any other 13-year-old. But pressures later drove the Whites out of town to a new high school where he made new friends.
I don't know. I think he should be able to attend school. I just don't see any reason. Ryan wouldn't want to give it to anybody, but Ryan didn't want to get it either.
Ryan became the national spokesperson for children with AIDS. Celebrities and politicians embraced him. Today, they all remembered the price he paid.
I think it was an inspiration to a great many people, and not just young people, but everybody.
Michael Jackson traveled to Indiana to pay his respects to Ryan's family, and Elton John, who was at Ryan's bedside yesterday, dedicated a song in loving memory of Ryan at a Farm Aid concert to the thousands who had come to know his story.
Your candle burned out long before your legend ever did.
School officials in Chester are prepared to come to terms with a tragedy that touched the lives of 7 young friends when drinking mixed with driving. Counselors are expected to help students tomorrow cope with the loss of 2 of their fellow teens who died over the weekend. Of the 7 involved in this crash, 5 survived. Funeral services for 14-year-old Isis Loika are scheduled for Wednesday. Services for 14-year-old Reagan Jablonski have not yet been set. The driver of the vehicle, 16-year-old Joel Coate, has been arrested and charged with DWI. 2 other passengers remain hospitalized.
There was recognition and remembrance today for Connecticut's former prisoners of war. A statewide observance took place today at the State Veterans Home and Hospital in Rocky Hill. POW medals were pinned to the chest of ex-POWs, a symbol of patriotism and pride. A wreath ceremony also intertwined flags and friendships that have flourished over the years.
Thousands of Christians in Connecticut opened the Easter season today with Palm Sunday ceremonies. In Windsor, parishioners from Trinity United Methodist Church celebrated the season along with the 200th anniversary of Methodism. To commemorate the event, many members of the congregation dressed in historical costumes and sang hymns that date from the late 1700s. Palm Sunday traditionally marks Christ's entry into the holy city of Jerusalem and the Mount of Olives. Mount of Olives is believed to be where Jesus and his disciples went after the Last Supper.
Hungary's main conservative party appears to be the overwhelming victor in today's balloting. While official results are not expected before Tuesday, state television reports the Democratic Forum has won 165 seats in the 386-seat parliament. Today's balloting was the first for Hungary's freely chosen government in 43 years. Hundreds of thousands of people flocked to vote in the Republic of Slovenia, Yugoslavia today in an effort to sweep away communist rule. It was the first completely free election in the country in more than 5 decades. Opinion polls predict victory for the 7-party opposition coalition. Meanwhile, Nepal's Marnik is pledging a democratic government after days of bloody unrest. King Birendra today announced plans for multi-party elections. The move marks the advent of human rights and freedom of speech in that nation. Jim.
Policymakers in Washington will take a holiday break this week, but there will be no break for negotiators laying the groundwork for the May Superpower Summit. Tom Walker has this look at the week ahead.
Morning.
Washington will be preoccupied with superpower relations this week during the build-up to the next face-to-face talks between George Bush and Mikhail Gorbachev in late May. As a prelude, Senate leaders will travel to Moscow to see Gorbachev. To be discussed, trade, military cuts, and the breakaway Republic of Lithuania.
It is my hope that there will be a peaceful resolution of the situation in Lithuania, and that the United States and the Soviet Union will reach meaningful, fair, balanced, and verifiable agreements on arms.
Negotiators for both sides have just a few weeks to settle issues that still block the way to a new arms control accord.
And liftoff.
This Tuesday, the space shuttle rockets off with a new breed of space telescope aboard. The Hubble telescope is so powerful it will be able to show pictures of objects 14 billion light years away, and could lead to revised theories of how the universe was shaped. With Congress out of town for Passover and Easter, President Bush will hit the road too, heading north for meetings with Canadian leaders, then to Bermuda for talks with British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher.
Lynn is running and she's bunts.
And as the first cries of play ball reverberate elsewhere this week, those in the nation's capital will be left to reflect that they are still without local baseball heroes to root for. Tom Walker, Channel 3 Eyewitness News, Washington.
Well, we are all rooting for Bruce to put his rubber stamp on this nice weather.
But it's not looking very good, Jim. April showers are on the way along with the forecast next. Stay with us.